Dr. Fate is the final hero to be cast as part of Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam film, and the last hero to be cast for the DCEU version of the Justice Society of America, which will appear there. While many pop culture fans who are more familiar with the films may not know much about Dr. Fate, he is one of DC's oldest and most powerful heroes, and we're here to help you learn all about him and what we can see in store for his character in the DCEU. Welcome back, Nerd Squad! Join me as we dive into the magical world of DC and count down the top 10 Dr. Fate facts you need to know. Alright, let's get into it. Number 10. Multiple Doctors. When it comes to the hero known as Dr. Fate, there have actually been multiple versions of the character throughout the decades, with the powers of Dr. Fate being passed on to various potential sorcerers. One of the most well-known versions is Kent Nelson, the first person to take up the mantle in the comics in 1940. Since then, we have also seen Eric Strauss and his stepmother Linda merge to become Dr. Fate in the 80s, Inza Kramer Nelson in the early 90s, Jared Stephen as Fate in the mid-90s. Fate is such a 90s version of that character, by the way. Hector Hall as we approach the millennium, Kent V. Nelson, descendant of the original Dr. Fate in the early 2000s, Khalid Ben Hussein during the New 52 reboot, and finally Khalid Nassour starting in 2015. That is a lot of Dr. Fates. Number 9. Film and TV. When it comes to which version of the character is usually portrayed on the silver screen and in television, Kent Nelson is the obvious pick, being the original Dr. Fate. As such, it is no surprise that Kent Nelson was the version of the character that we got on Smallville, where he was played by Brent Strait, and will also be the version that we can expect to see in DC's Black Adam film, which stars Dwayne Johnson. Former James Bond actor Pierce Brosnan will be playing the role of Dr. Fate, aka Kent Nelson, in the film. It's expected Kent Nelson's origins in the film will closely resemble that of his comic book origins, where he was the son of an archaeologist who later learned magic and would be given the Helmet of Fate, Amulet of Anubis, and Cloak of Destiny. Number 8. Doctor Strange Fate. Many people often compare Sorcerer Supreme Doctor Strange to Dr. Fate when it comes to his magical Marvel counterpart, which is why it makes sense that in the Amalgam universe these two would end up being combined together to create Doctor Strange Fate, the mashed up version of both of their characters. A testament to both superheroes, Doctor Strange Fate was one of the most powerful characters to come out of that universe, and also one of the most intelligent. Following the destruction of the combined universe, which split off again back into two separate ones, Doctor Strange Fate was one of the few characters who survived. This version of both Dr. Fate and Doctor Strange still exists, in fact, initially lingering in Doctor Strange's psyche before being trapped by the Sorcerer Supreme in a pocket dimension. Number 7. Countdown to Mystery. In 2007, there was a precursor series about the search for Dr. Fate, where Kent Nelson's grandnephew, also Kent Nelson, was introduced. This series was meant to set up a Dr. Fate series featuring Kent Nelson's descendant. Unfortunately, before the end of Countdown to Mystery, the writer for the series, Steve Gerber, passed away. Adam Beechin then stepped in to help finish the series using Gerber's notes for the penultimate issue, with a bunch of esteemed writers lending their voices to finish the story and final issue, each offering a different ending. The story of Countdown to Mystery is sad and quite sweet, as it was Steve Gerber's last work on a comic, but which also brought a lot of brilliant writers together in his honor and his memory. Dr. Fate. After feeling there was more good he could do for the people he tried to help, Kent Nelson decided to become a medical doctor, and within a page of comic book storytelling, he was there! I know, that was so fast. Inza, his companion, was even inspired to become his nurse and assistant, so supportive was she of the idea. Kent studied and took his exams and eventually became a medical doctor as well, earning doubly the title of doctor. His medical knowledge would even come in handy when he was under the guise of Dr. Fate, and not only was he helping people as a superhero, but he was also helping them as an everyday hero in his profession. Though when he found time to sleep, I have no idea. I feel like if you were a doctor by day and a superhero by night, it's like, geez, I must be taking micro naps like Batman, I don't know. And friends, before I move on to this next spot, just a quick reminder to hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. It really does help us out here at the channel, and lets us know you want more lists like this. Number 5. Justice Society of America. Kent Nelson, the first Dr. Fate, was also one of the founding members of the Justice Society of America, or the JSA. One of the first heroes he would encounter would be the Spectre, and it was with the Spectre that he would fight to destroy a demonic gateway and prevent prevent an invasion. Good job. As a result of their triumph, they ended up being encouraged by the president at the time to form their own team, and they did that, creating the Justice Society of America. The initial founding roster included Jay Garrick's The Flash, Alan Scott's Green Lantern, The Spectre, Hawkman, The Hourman, The Sandman, Al Pratt's Atom, Johnny Thunder, and of course, Kent Nelson's Dr. Fate. Number 4. Justice League Dark. Dr. Fate as a hero has also been a part of another team that is a fan favorite. Justice League Dark's current roster includes Khalid Nassur's Dr. Fate, as well as Detective Chimp, Constantine, Man-Bat, Zatanna, and Swamp Thing. In fact, it was when Khalid joined the Justice League Dark that he also decided to take up the helm of Fate and become himself Dr. Fate. He initially was studying magic with his uncle, Kent Nelson, when Naboo took hold of Nelson while he slept. He attacked Khalid and trapped him in a vase, which prompted him, once free, to take up arms with the rest of the League against the Lords of Order. And if you want to check out the Lords of Order's story arc, you can check out the Justice League Dark Volume 2 from 2018, and this arc starts about issue 8. Number 3. Inza Kramer. As I mentioned earlier, Inza Kramer was one of the people to become Dr. Fate, but not only that, she is also known as the wife of Dr. Fate as well, which she would become later. She actually made her first appearance in the same issue as Kent Nelson. Inza was his ally and companion, and as we learned more about the mysterious figure of Dr. Fate, we learned that he and Inza were actually an item. Later on, it would be revealed that the two beings were destined to merge and become Dr. Fate together, and they would also end up tying the knot and getting married as well. Number 2. Magical Artifacts. In order for Dr. Fate to become Dr. Fate, he typically needs 3 artifacts that grant him magical power, but sometimes he doesn't need all of them. Fun fact. The main one is the Helm of Fate, and then of course we have the Amulet of Anubis and the Cloak of Destiny. Each item boosts Dr. Fate's powers significantly, and without them there is much that he cannot accomplish. Think of Doctor Strange basically whenever he is without his title of Sorcerer Supreme and is therefore weaker. It's kinda like that. Dr. Fate will usually still have some level of magical ability without the items, but at a much lower level, becoming not nearly as gifted as the person was with those items. And like I said, you technically need them to be Dr. Fate. You at least need the helm. So you also would just be, you know, Kent Nelson, magic user, and medical professional, as opposed to actually having the title of Dr. Fate. Though at least you'd still have the title of Doctor, I guess. Number 1. Naboo. Speaking of the power of these artifacts, one of the reasons they are so powerful is because of Naboo the Wise, one of the Lords of Order, whose power resides within the helmet. Naboo the Wise is believed to have a virtually limitless power, and it was he who initially trained Kent Nelson, and also bestowed upon him the artifacts that would turn him into Dr. Fate. When Dr. Fate wears the helmet, he wields all of the power of Naboo the Wise. In fact, initially he was also sort of bonded with Naboo's spirit when in his Dr. Fate form, and it would later be implied that the character of Dr. Fate was usually two beings merged together, like Inza and Kent, or like Linda and Eric. What are some of your favorite facts about Dr. Fate? Which incarnation of Dr. Fate is your favorite? Is there something you really hope to see in the DCEU when it comes to that version of the character? Let us know in the comments below. And speaking of comments, it is time to turn to some comments from one of our latest videos, Top 10 Martian Manhunter Facts You Need to Know. Big, McLarge, huge comments. This guy is so powerful that even Superman said of all the people in the universe, Martian Manhunter is the only one he doesn't want to get in a fight with. Yeah, Martian Manhunter is like crazy powerful, which is also why it's weird that a lot of people don't know a lot about him. G shares an interesting fact is that Martian Manhunter is immune to fire, but his fear is so great that he actually thinks it would hurt him. Yeah, I think that's actually like a built-in Martian thing, which is why it's such a crazy weakness, because it's like just a weakness in your mind. Like most fears in life, really. Kenneth Seo responds, I think Martian Manhunter deserves his own movie debut. After all, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman had several movies. He'd be a big draw to sci-fi fans. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I feel like there's so many heroes who haven't had a movie yet who deserve it, but we only ever get the big ones. And that's all the time we have for comments today. Be sure to comment below for a chance to have your thoughts and feels shouted out in a future video. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, reminding you to stay nerdy, YouTube.